Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to share my thoughts on series Three Body Problem Season 1 that was released on March 21st, 2024 in Netflix. Three Body Problem is an American science fiction television series released on Netflix streaming service platform based on the Chinese novel The Three Body Problem by Liu Cixin. The Netflix adaptation series was created by David Benioff, D.B. Weiss and Alexander Woo, starring Joan Adepo, Ron Bradley, Rosalind Cho, and many others. Before getting into the review, want to mention that I haven't read the original book and had no idea about the plot. I like science fiction genre a lot, maybe slightly lenient, and was hoping to have a great experience watching this series. My pronunciation is not that great. Please forgive me for any mispronunciations. The views shared are only personal opinion, does not intend to hurt anyone's sentiment. Recommend discretion. The story revolves around a group of scientists who are forced to confront an extraterrestrial threat due to fateful decision made by an astrophysicist after witnessing her father beaten to death during a struggle session in the Chinese Cultural Revolution in 1960s China. First of all, for a science fiction series, there were plenty of strong ideas which could have blown away my mind, but they simply didn't bother to explain or explore. Especially ideas like solar radio amplification. Sun is opaque to radio waves. How did they use the sun to amplify? Nanofibers cutting so precisely. Again, how it works. And on top of all, aliens can manipulate the universe by compressing it into proton. This was referred as sophons, which are technically tiny proton-sized computers that the aliens designed by folding protons out from three-dimensional objects into higher dimensional objects, giving them more space. Quantum entanglement for communication. As far as my limited knowledge, quantum entanglement cannot be used for communication. How did they achieve it? How does it work? I totally understand. There are plenty of scientific things that were beyond our current physics theory of explanations. To take a concept and not to explore or explain properly seemed more like a fairy tale than a science fiction. To me, this falls more on fantasy than science fiction. Can't help to think this was mainly due to writing. There were so much of uneven pacing, sometimes too fast and unnecessarily slow at times. They could have taken plenty of time on proper world building and character development. Lack of depth in characters and the poor world building resulted in hard to connect. There were moments in the series it really tries hard to crack humor. Unfortunately, they didn't work for me. Many unnecessary melodramatic moments which did not connect with me at all. Why such melodrama needed for this science fiction is beyond my understanding. The dialogues were odd at times, which may be done purposefully, but still didn't sit well. The performances were a huge letdown. It was extremely hard for me to believe the supposed group of scientists are genius. Except for the Chinese characters and the Thomas Wade character, all other performances were under par. Most of the emotion did not connect at all. The overall visuals were mixed bag. Some of the CGI and framing were spectacular. Some places felt CGI could have been better, and on some shots, the focusing and framing seemed like they are trying to hide something from the viewing experience. The background score didn't elevate any scene. Few places, the performances and the music felt totally out of sync. From ordinary music for a flat narration. This was a perfect series for a brilliant nonlinear narration. Though it tries its level best on nonlinear narration, the transition wasn't smooth at times. The edits on big scientific ideas exploration scenes after sometimes felt very tiresome. The uneven pacing and some jarring cuts didn't help. Production design certainly could have been better for this big scale and high budget. Be it the locations or the artwork felt very ordinary. CGI was okayish. Probably my expectation was a bit high and it didn't meet the expectation. Production design did contribute to the letdown of overall viewing experience. While the Chinese Cultural Revolution session scene was extremely cruel and brutal, it had everything in sync. The performance, the setting, and the way it was filmed elevated the scene. There were plenty of other supposed to be elevated moments, like the universe blinking scene, the explanation of three body problem scene within the game, nanofiber attack on the ship scene, or even the entire revelation of their grand plan and the explanation of sophons. Unfortunately, plenty of elements made those scenes flat or underwhelming. The lead up to the scene, performance, ordinary score, narration style, and other elements hinder them from being amazing. For someone who haven't read the original material, the Chinese book, it still felt underwhelming due to performances, writing, and the narration style. I can only imagine what it could have been for those who like the book. Lack of proper world building was one of the big misses as well. There are plenty of questions which were left open, and since they jumped so much to other concepts, story taking different directions, I don't see them answered even if there are subsequent seasons. Three Body Problem Season 1 was not engaging and entertaining. Overall, it didn't work for me. Thanks for your time.